Well, you would agree with me that the government, particularly the present administration, is really doing a lot, towards ensuring that the citizens perhaps get a better life. We could see what they are doing in the power sector. Talking about employment or addressing unemployment, they've come up with quite a number of programs. We have the You Win programs. But then one would ask, do you think they are really doing enough?
They're moving in the right direction. They're moving in the right direction. For example, one of the areas that they've intervened in our market recently is the setting up of the Nigerian Reinsurance Corporation, particularly on housing. So basically, if a bank has a loan, a mortgage loan, that mortgage can then be sold to that remortgage corporation, and then the bank will have more money to be able to do that. The government is trying. Like the You Win program is basically targeted at employers, those who want to go into self-employment. Because if you enable one employer to succeed, you're creating more jobs behind that. So it's an area that we must continue to target. But why are small businesses not flourishing in Nigeria? The biggest one, as I said to you, is electricity. And the next one is access to funding. The You Win program, it was targeting funding. So that let's give these people money so that they can then be able to survive in the... It's in the right direction. But what I'm saying to you is that if the government themselves now says, we want to establish businesses, we want to... No, Nigerian government should not be doing that. That should be left to people like us in the private sector to do that. But they're working in the right direction, I must say, rather than just saying, go and fend for yourself.
What about the policies? Are they in the right direction?
Well, looking at across the board, you can say some are right, some are wrong. The one that is, for example, very direct to us in my industry is where we're saying there's multiple taxation. Lagos State government has a lot to answer in that front. The federal government also have a lot to answer in that front. Because when you look at, for example, the hotel, we have said it's wrong to have VAT on pricing and also consumption tax, again, on the same thing. So you are putting more pressure on costs of hotel room in Lagos, particularly per night. You only need to go to another state in Nigeria. Hotel room cost is very, very low as compared to Lagos State. So the government is the key. If they have the will.
Now, looking at our peers, we could see they've achieved a lot in terms of mechanized agriculture. Now we're talking about diversifying our economy, and the Minister of Agriculture is really doing a lot in terms of developing that sector. Aside from mechanized agriculture, we could see some of our peers in terms of production, industrial goods, production of industrial goods. Mm-hmm. Nigeria is still import dependent. I mean, why are we not yet there after 100 years? What exactly is the problem? Why are those people there? Why are we still hanging where we are?
Well, don't forget that we got it right up to independence, where when you look at the three regions of Nigeria, we have specialization in those three regions. So we got it wrong immediately we discovered oil. That is when we got it wrong. Immediately we saw that there was quicker money to be made. We abandoned agriculture. Countries that in Africa that does not have oil remain in agriculture. A good example is Ivory Coast. Probably one of the best countries for cocoa.
Yeah, even though we have plenty of oil, what have we achieved with it?
Well, that is what I'm saying, that when easy money, if you have access to easy money, you will abandon the other money that would stress you. That is what Nigeria has done. So, what is the solution? The solution is to say that whatever you can make in oil, you can also make in agriculture. That is where we are not marketing it right to people. If I'm a farmer and I want to cultivate 1 million acres, and the government of the state the government or the state, of the federal or the local, can guarantee me a buyer, what is my problem? But we've completely missed all of that, and that is why everybody is moving away from agriculture. But positive. The current Minister of Agriculture is doing well. Various policy to address all of these issues. I am aware like we had a situation where they were importing a lot of rice mills and giving it to farmers who are in rice to be able to expand. So we're doing the right thing, but it's not at a faster pace. That is why you will not see the impact of it.
All right, there is no doubt, and of course from what you have said, that yeah, Nigeria has got a lot of potentials, to be beyond where we are right now. And what do you think we are not doing right? And what do you think we can do better?
Well, from where I sit, I will say that we need to get electricity right. If we fix electricity, every other thing will follow suit. But we started in the right direction, but I have one big fear. And the fear is that the rot in electricity infrastructure in Nigeria will take a long time. I do not agree with the president that says we will have stable electricity in June. It's not going to happen. When you take off any location in Nigeria, all you need to do is go outside, look at the cable outside your house. Go to the Republic of Benin. Go and look at the cable on the streets there. You will see the differences. So there are those who are also comparing electricity privatization with telecom privatization in Nigeria. It's a completely different thing. The telecom people came with new infrastructure from day one. It's completely different from this infrastructure. When you look at the big electricity pylon in Nigeria, they've been there even before I was born, pre-60. Those big pylon needs to be changed. When you go to America or UK, you will see them changing this thing on an average every 5 and 10 years. We've not done it in Nigeria. And sooner or later, what are you going to find? Those things is going to start falling in Nigeria. And then we will start running Esther and Scatter, because if you look at some of them in Lagos, there are people building under it, under those pylons. When they cut, people are going to die. It's a problem waiting to happen. But the infrastructure for these things is huge. So those who, for example, if you look at my area here, which is Ikeja Electricity Distribution Company, the winner of this distribution of Ikeja needs to change all the infrastructure here. Do they have that money? This is where the problem is. If you supply full electricity in Ikeja, non-stop, can the infrastructure in Ikeja carry those things non-stop? I'm saying, give you an example, that we just have non-stop electricity in Ikeja for the next 1 year. Do you think the cable, the transformer in this area, can they support it? This is one of the biggest problems that we need to face. So if we get the electricity right, every other thing will come into it. And also, let small businesses have access to credits. Once they have access to credit, the old woman will come out and start selling something. By her selling, she has to buy it from somebody. Our people are industrial people. We just need to encourage them.
So, after 100 years, what next?
I think, for me, we have got stable democracy in Nigeria. I think things will change. Don't forget, there are people who have been crying since the 70s for a change. And what they keep on telling us is that it's getting worse. We have seen it. But I believe that after a stable democracy, citizens are now asking questions. What is going on? Give us this report. Give us that report. So once Nigerians start asking questions, we will see that Nigeria of the future will be better. If we make a mess of it, where will our children be? So I am one of those people, I believe that in another 100 years, Nigeria will be a better place than what it is now. Although it is taking, it's like, the way I see Nigeria is, if you plant a corn in the ground, that corn will first of all, rotting away before it starts germinating into a better thing. That is how I will see Nigeria. When will that germination start coming? Because what we have had from independence has been rot. But when will that transformation come so that we can start seeing the likely effect of it? But if you also want to say, a lot of people have been comparing us with, say, South Africa. That, hold on, South African independence only happened some few years ago when Nelson Mandela came out, and then the people got freedom. But there has been, South African independence to me happened a long time ago. But they were handed over to a minority to be ruling the majority. So South Africa has gone through that rottenness before germination that we are now seeing. But I believe that with the best will of citizens asking the right question and leaders, proper leaders coming to take over these things, we will get it right in the future.
All right, thank you very much. It's been wonderful speaking with you.
Thank you very much.
That was Edward Akinla, the GMD Suru Group Limited. And just before we go, let's give you some tips you may need to be a good business leader.
The first requisite of being a good business leader is courage. As a leader, you will need courage to hold the mantle of leadership, courage to face your worst fears, and courage to do the right thing, regardless of whose butt is kicked. One thing with being a leader is that the decision-making rests solely on your shoulders, and you have to live with the consequences of your decisions. You may have a great business team, but they are not going to make the decisions for you. All they are going to do is render advice. To be a good business leader, you must be definite and firm in your decision. Skillful planning is another attribute of good leadership. Good leaders are known to be tactical planners and plan executors. They plan and strategize critically with their team before making any move or taking any decision. Good business leaders don't work alone. They bring on board people who are smarter than they are and delegate duties to these smart individuals. Great business leaders know that worthwhile achievements are never accomplished by standalone men, but by great business teams. And so, if achieving extraordinary accomplishments is your concern, then you must strive to develop these qualities of leadership.
And with those tips, we wrap up this week's edition of the program. Thank you for staying tuned. You can make your comments on Business Incorporated at channelstv.com. Hope to be with you again, same time next week. I'm Chimezie Obiwagu. Have a good evening.